All right, everybody, I'm Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both published by Simon & Schuster Saga Press. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Lawrence Block, Hitman. That's right, Hitman. Anyway, I took a day to read. What I did is, if you saw my last birthday book haul, I bought every Lawrence Block Matthew Scudder mystery. I bought every Lawrence Block burglar mystery, his burglar series, and then I bought his Hitman series, which is right here. You can see them there. And then so what I did was I took an entire day and I read the first book in each series. So I read The Sins of Our Fathers first. Then I read, which is the book number 1 in the Matthew Scudder series. You can see my review on YouTube here. And then I read Hitman second. So we're doing the review of that, and then I read Burglars Can't Be Choosers, his book number 1 in his burglar series, all in one day. And I even had time left over to go watch the Utah Jazz playoff game that night. I read fast, I read about 100 pages an hour, so blowing through 3 books that were only 200 pages each was not tough. What did I think of Hitman? What did I think of Hitman? Came out in 1998. We always review. So this series was started in the 1970s. This series was started in the 1970s. He didn't start his Hitman series until 1998. We always review the covers and the graphic design because I love graphic design and cover illustration. Anyway, what can you do? This is about as basic as it gets. Hitman. And Lawrence Block's name right there. There ain't nothing else to it. And there really doesn't need to be. Sometimes less is more. And I think this is a good example of that. What cover? What would you put? What would you put on a book called Hitman that wouldn't just look kind of goofy? Just go with the just simplify that shit and you're going to probably succeed. Anyway, what I did not know about this book going into it, which is going to affect my review a little bit, is I did not know that Hitman series started. The first book was actually a compilation of 7 short stories that he wrote for Playboy magazine over a kind of a long extended period of time about the hitman Keller. And so this is basically a compilation of short stories. If you followed my channel at all, I do not like short stories. I don't write them. I don't enjoy reading them. I like big, long novels. The longer, the better. In fact, my novels are very long in comparison. I like epic. So short stories ain't my thing, and I did not realize I was getting into a compilation of short stories. Now, the rest of the series is novels. So I'm hoping that the novels, because okay, so the short stories, now Lawrence Block is a dynamite writer. Let's not lose sight of that. Just because I'm biased against short stories should not affect the rest of the world's enjoyment of this book. And especially if the rest of the world loves short stories. That's fine, that's great. It's not what I'm into. But they were all sort of interconnected. They all starred Keller, the hitman. And who is Keller? He's just a dude. He's just a dude like the rest of us. He's a lonely dude. He's the type of guy, like me, that would go to watch the Utah Jazz game in a sports bar all by himself. I could be Keller. Maybe I am Keller. Maybe I am a hitman. Like Keller, just a normal dude, keeping things on a down low, right? Oh, maybe we all are. It's one of the appeals to the story, actually, is this Keller, he's just a lonely dude, he's the guy that you wouldn't notice on a train. He's the guy walking down the street that you wouldn't notice because he's absolutely not attractive, just bland, just pasty-faced and bland. Nothing stands out to him as being striking. I'm describing myself here, people. Describing myself. He goes to the sports bar, sits and watches a jazz game in a sports bar full of people, and nobody and notices that he's there. And that's kind of his deal, is he's just a guy. He's just a dude. Collects stamps and coins. I collect books. I collect Star Wars books and Star Wars t-shirts, Raiders hats. I mean, you know, it's like we could be the same guy in these stories. They're just about 7 of them about him doing a different, just living his normal life and getting sent off to do different assassinations. Thing is, now assassins, we shouldn't like them, right? We shouldn't like them, but we find that we do kind of like Keller in that he's relatable to all of us. I mean, every person that reads this book, 99% of the people that read this book are probably pasty-faced, middle-aged, fat guys like myself that fancy themselves as being like tough guy hitmen, secretive hitmen. That's the appeal to the book. Short story format, I did not care for. Now, I'm hoping when I get to the novels that we'll get into some more juice of this thing that I can really like sink my teeth into. So I'm going to give Hitman a 6 out of 10. So it's still, I'm giving it a much better than average rating just because Lawrence Block is just a fantastic writer and the character is good. I just would have rather had a full-blown novel with rather than 7 short stories. And that makes sense.